Our enemies are thoughts. It's not the people who think those thoughts. It's the thoughts themselves. And I think this is a very important distinction to make, because people can change their minds. Hello friends, it's Jesse, and today I wanted to share with you some thoughts about enemies. Specifically, the idea that our enemies are thoughts, not people. We live in very divisive times, and we're all so focused on our enemies. Every time we check the news, every time we go on social media, it's all these contentious fights with rival ideologies and the people who adhere to those ideologies, and we call them names, we call each other names, and we accuse each other of things. And for those of us who believe in a rational pursuit of principles and equality for all people and the good of all humankind, this descent into tribal warmongering against our fellow members of our society is disturbing, and it is futile. And in a sense, it's really pointless, but it will bring us to a point where we end up fighting each other. It cannot continue indefinitely. And I think that the way out of this situation is to realize who our real enemy is. Our enemies are not other people. Our enemies are thought patterns. Our enemies are thoughts. It's not the people who think those thoughts. It's the thoughts themselves. And I think this is a very important distinction to make, because people can change their minds. If you've never changed your mind, you really need to think about what you're doing with your life, because most people, at some time in their life, most people change their minds about some things. And that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. That is the logical, rational way to approach life. We learn new information, and then we change our minds based on that new information. A person who refuses to change their mind, even when they learn new information, if they discount that new information or they call the new information into question, that person is not behaving rationally. That person is behaving as a conspiracy theorist. And some of us have espoused conspiracy theories in the past. Even a conspiracy theorist can change their mind. Given enough time, given the right incentives, when presented with proper information. But the key is that nobody is ever going to change their mind as long as we attack them as individuals. If we come against someone and we tell them that they personally are the problem, it becomes a personal conflict. If we approach someone and we try and keep the discussion focused on ideas instead of on people, if we can focus a conversation on ideas instead of people. Yes, I said that twice because that's what we need to do as we try to change the world view of the people who we currently view as our opponents. Regardless of which side we're on, we need to take the higher path. We need to stay on the high ground and approach every debate as a rational argument between rational people, even if the people on one side of the debate may have espoused an irrational viewpoint. The viewpoint can be challenged without denigrating the individuals who currently espouse that viewpoint. This is the way forward for our society. We must stop tearing each other down. We must stop harming each other as individuals in the name of the pursuit of the ideas that we cherish. Our ideas are the key. And we must remember to present those ideas as the key to solving the problems of our society. We have real challenges that must be faced. We need more equality, better equity. We need improved access to resources. We need to save the environment. All these things are so important. We're not going to achieve those goals by calling the other side names. We're only going to inflame them and make them hate us. And hatred on both sides is only going to escalate into violent conflict. And violent conflict only decides who has the better violence. It does not decide who has the better argument. We want to win the moral argument. We need to keep our arguments focused on ideas. Change people's minds. Don't hurt them as people. Change their minds by presenting them with better ideas. Uh-oh. A few of you may have seen I posted an article on medium.com recently in which I talked about loving your enemy as yourself. The idea of loving your enemy as yourself is, of course, a very old idea, and I think it's one that we have forgotten in our modern debate over the culture wars and the direction that we want our society to take in the future. But it's such a valuable idea, I think we need to return to it and try to find a way to work together, even with the people who we believe are our enemies. And so I posted this article. One of the comments that I got from a friend on LinkedIn pointed out that when we truly approach the world with love, then we don't see other people as our enemies. When we truly approach the world with love, we just see people who are currently working with us and people who currently have other ideas. Those are not his words, but the point is that the ideas are the enemy. The people are not the enemy. And this is what we really need to keep in mind as we go forward. The people are not the enemy. The ideas are the enemy. The people themselves are just people, like ourselves. They are the product of their experiences. They are the product of the media they consume. They are the product of their surroundings and their circumstances. And if we had been raised in exactly the same circumstances that they find themselves in, and we had experienced exactly what they have experienced in life, then we would likely be just like them. So believing that people are the enemy causes conflict. Believing that ideas are the enemy allows us to see people as just people like ourselves. And when we address those ideas instead of making war upon other people, then we're able to make progress towards our goals for a better future. So go out and make progress towards a better future. I know you can do it. I look forward to seeing a better future with you, my friends. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks very much. Have a great day.